Hi guys, and welcome to Foshty. Today I am interviewing Ijeoma.
Okoli.
We're gonna do it again. I was like, no, it's not Anadu. It's not Anadu.
Actually, it's Anadu-Okoli.
Oh, really?
My milling.
Because my brain just, I was like, I can only think of Anadu, but it's not that. Okay, so we're gonna do this again. We're gonna edit. Hi guys, welcome to Foshty. I am Zaya Felix, and today I am interviewing Ijeoma Anadu-Okoli.
Nice.
And she's going to be here. We're going to talk, as always, about just life being an African immigrant and our experiences, contributions, and thoughts around just the immigrant experience. So thank you for joining us again. So welcome to Foshty.
Thank you.
And thanks for taking the time to be here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So I generally start with the question about home. Where do you consider home?
So I personally consider Nigeria my home.
Okay.
But this is cliche, but home is where your heart is.
Right.
But I consider Nigeria home just because for as long as I've been here since '94.
Okay.
For as long as I've been here, and I was born here, but we lived in Nigeria for 10 years and then moved back when I was 10.
Okay. You moved back to the States when you were 10.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So I was born here. I was 3 months old and went back to Nigeria,
Okay.
and then came back here when I was 10. So I feel like that's my home, just because every time I go back, once I walk out the plane, there's a feeling that comes like this is home. Like it's just freeing.
Right. So that's awesome, because that feeling I can really I can understand, because I have a similar thing that happens once the plane touches the ground, that little bump. There's just this thing that happens, and I'm like, there we go. But then for me, the reverse happens when I get here. I don't know if you ever experienced that.
You're like,
I get relaxed and happy and comfortable, and then once I'm on the plane back to the States, literally once the plane touches the ground, I'm like, oh, stress, here we go. So I can say, as much as I see Nigeria home, and of course I see America home, but that feeling always shows up.
You cannot replicate that here. Yeah. It's just different. I feel like it's something where you don't know that you are actually wearing a mask.
Yeah.
You're not, or you're pretending to be the right fit for the right environment.
Right. You're being an imposter.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah.
But you don't feel it until you go back when you're not
you're like
having to be an imposter.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. That's pretty real, because I don't think a lot of us really identify what that feeling is. So it's interesting that you point out the feeling of feeling like you have to have a mask or a certain persona, and then when you get home, which is essentially what should be, you're open and you're yourself and you're free.
Yep. Precisely.
Cool. Okay. So coming to the States at 10. 10 is what, middle school?
So I just finished primary 6 in Nigeria.
Okay.
And when I got here, they told me I was going to be in 6th grade.
Again. Okay.
And so I was like, first of all, my friends and I finished primary 6.
Right.
I will not do primary 6.
Okay.
Because to me, that was equivalent.
Right. And it is. Though.
Yeah. So they had me take an exam. It's not based on age.
Oh,
so based on my age, I was supposed to be in the 6th grade.
I see. Okay.
But I was like, I just finished 6th grade. I'm not repeating a class.
Right.
So they made me take a test, and I tested to go into the 7th.
Okay.
So
and then
thankfully,
started 7th grade.
Yeah. But I was always the youngest.
Okay. But at least you could test into it, because some people didn't really have that option.
Yeah.
I think
I was like, my parents were like, oh, it's okay. I was like, nope. I'm not going to be behind my friends.
Yeah.
No.
So at 10, there was this sense of, I don't want to say stubbornness, but really just standing up for what you believe.
Yeah. I tried to anyway. I think it's in my nature.
Okay. That is good. That's good, because not everyone really is that vocal, especially girls. I don't think we always allow, then, several decades ago, always allowed girls to be as vocal and to take direction and control of their own lives. Yeah. So it's awesome to be able to do that at a young age.
Yeah.
What was middle school like? Do you remember? Coming here, being in 7th grade.
We went to Oregon. Okay. That's where I was born, and that's where my parents went to school.
Okay.
So we went to Oregon, and I started 7th grade there. That's middle school. It was interesting. It was a culture shock, because I went from an African from Nigeria, full on African experience to full on
Caucasian white American experience. Right.
So it was a culture shock. So the language, like obviously you speak English, but I can hear them, but they'll be like, oh, I don't know what she's saying. Because I'm talking like this.
Right, and you have the accent, right? And some of the words we would say,
like
would
trouser
sound
versus
different.
pants and boots versus
like
trunk.
capable versus capable.
Yeah,
that was my issue.
I used to say development.
Right. No, literally. I came into high school. I remember arguing with my teacher about capable versus capable. I'm like, what's capable? It's capable. And she would tell me, she goes, no, that's not how we say it. I'm like, do you say cap? I was that kid. I'm like, do you say cap or cape? I remember that because I got in trouble.
So it was a photographer.
Yeah.
And they're like, what?
And the spelling with the OU versus just switching all of that.
Yeah, so it was different. And then kids are not nice.
Yeah, middle school kids are not nice.
I remember having to take the bus, and I'll get on the bus, and nobody, like somebody will have space, and instead of scooting in or like making room for me to go in, they will just scoot out and make sure I don't go in.
Oh gosh.
So I have to keep going and hoping that someone will give me space so that there's an open space where I can actually sit. So that was not fun. And then there was this guy that would always like bother me, and so I would always I would cry, tell my mom would call the school, my mom's getting her PhD. She doesn't have time for this. And working. I have 3 sisters, she's busy. Yeah. And my dad is in South Carolina at this time because he's on sabbatical leave.
Oh wow.
So it was not easy. But you're looking at it now, I understand. But then I was just like, this is horrible. Take me back. Why are we here?
Come take care of me. Why?
Why are we even here? Why did we come here in the first place? Can we just go back? Because I don't understand this place. So he used to be a jerk to me. And then finally, I saw how.
Do you know his name?
I see how the school, I guess they'll talk to him, but it didn't help. And then one day in the hallway, he tried to mess with me, so I jacked him up, and I was like, "Can I curse on this?"
Yes, you can curse. This is on YouTube. Sorry, blink your ears if you need to.
Leave me the fuck alone.
Like that. Like that. Leave me the fuck alone. That changes things.
After that, he never messed with me again.
Especially if you jack him and say I will beat you. I'll beat the living daylights out of you. Say something.
I think he was just so shocked because before I'll just start crying something, and then I was like, I am tired of this because whatever the authorities or whatever are not
They're not helping.
Anything.
I have to be in charge of my life.
I don't know if they helped. I think it got worse. So that's why I was like, no, they're gonna stop messing with me.
That's funny.
After that, I made friends. I wasn't the popular crew or anything. I was just surviving. And then this is in Oregon, so my mom would always have us in turtlenecs.
Okay, because it was cold. Yeah.
It was cold, and how our parents like to cook soup with the work and stuff. So
okay.
I didn't realize that it would on our smell was there. So after learning that, I now learned how to open the windows, light the candles, all these wearing the turtlenecks because she'd be like, "Wait, where this?"
Have all the scents around it.
Just
fold it right into it, right?
So this is after probably the 8th grade or something. So after this, I'm like, okay. Now I did 7th and 8th grade, and 9th grade is high school. So I get to high school. My older sister's there, so it's a little bit better. But she's what is she, a junior?
Okay.
And I'm a freshman, yeah.
Okay.
So it's still very different, and So anyway, and it's a huge high school, so it's better. I'm like, okay, after this, things are better. I now know how to get through things. And then my parents are like, we're moving to Orangeburg, South Carolina.
Because dad was now, okay.
Yeah, so dad he now has a full-time job there. My mom's finished her PhD. Ready to go. Right. It's no. I just figured out the white people.
Now you got to deal with the southern white people. Southern versus southern. That's something else I have to eventually figure out. Yeah.
Southern white people, so we get to Orangeburg, it's completely African Americans.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
So the high school we went to was 95% African American.
Wow, okay.
And then 5% Caucasian, Indians, others.
Okay.
So it was another culture shock.
I was
so in Oregon, Caucasians, they don't care. We're wearing flip flops, you're hippie style. Nobody cares about West the brand name. Exactly. Yeah. Everybody's chill. You get to Orangeburg, everybody's like, why are you wearing those flip flops? Why are your toes out? you're not wearing Nike, you're not wearing, like, it was all about the brands and all this stuff, and we were like, what? I was like, Mommy, we have to go buy me a Nike.
We need something else.
I can't, like, and we couldn't, we tried the bus, didn't like it, so,
okay. Why didn't you like it? If you remember.
It just didn't, I just didn't like it.
Okay.
We didn't like it, like, it wasn't, I'm trying to.
It's not the bus system, is it? That's I'm trying.
No,
to
the school bus system for sure.
So when you say you didn't like it, was it the experience of your experience being on the bus, or was it really just the busing system itself? What? Was it your parents not liking it?
No,
timing,
it was
just
more
your
me, my experience, and I felt unsafe.
Okay, that's totally that's fine. Because that is part of our experience, right? I've had a couple of guests where we talk about that. If it's a perception or if it's a reality or whatever, but your experience is your experience.
My high school, it was a good high school. It served my purpose, but my parents didn't look into the school district like we do today. Right? So it was just like, okay, we're living here.
I know, in high school too. That's very different.
Yeah, we're living here. This is where this is the high school you're going to. Like, it wasn't, there was no second thought to it, because if there was, I think they would have taken us to the other high school.
Right, okay.
But everything happens for a reason. It's part of our story. It is what it is. Luckily, my sister could drive, so we would drive. And then when she graduated, I was like, I wasn't old enough yet, so one of her friends actually would come pick me up every day, because she says she remembers the experience. So she was like, I'm not gonna let anybody go through that. Every morning she came pick me up.
That's awesome.
Crazy till I started driving.
Right.
So from there I went to Clemson University.
Okay.
And loved it. And we're going to nationals. Conference. We're playing against MSU
Clemson. Okay. Awesome. That's good. Congratulations.
Nobody cares.
Not
Americans care. It's American football.
Right. It's football, so it's nobody. I can say for myself. It's one football. I'm not really into football.
It's not a Nigerian sport.
Right.
But it took me a minute to learn it. I'm not an expert in it anyway. I just know the basics. We have the ball, we're touching down, or we, interception, all those things. I have
started learning to yell at the right time and figure out what's going on. Because a lot of times we're like, wait, what's going on? Wait. Well, okay, yay, we got it. Something happened. But congratulations to Clemson. Yay. It's awesome. So now there's college, and then of course life continues as usual. So how often did you go back, or how recently? Do you go back frequently to Nigeria? Do you still
have a story?
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
So for the first 10 years when we were here, we didn't go in back right after I graduated from undergrad.
Okay.
Was my first time going back, so that was a really long time. That was like 10 years or something.
Or a little more, I guess. If you left at 10. Yeah.
I left at 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was about 10 years, because I graduated at 2021.
Okay.
So anyway, that's when we went back, and then after I went back with my parents.
How was that experience?
Not fun.
Really?
Because when we go to your parents, you go to the village, you go see their friends, their visit. You're just like, okay,
just being shuffled around.
Yeah, but I love the village. I'm a village girl. I could sit in the village and just eat all the fruit.
Relax, enjoy the cool weather at the right time.
Yes. Enjoy the food. Like, it's
clean eating
for sure. Organic.
Yes, organic.
There's just
without the price tag.
And I could literally sit at home and just chill and not have to. I'm not on the phone. I'm not on social media. I'm not anything. So
real disconnect.
Yeah, but when we were with them, we would have to go around, blah blah blah. Like, it's fine. We see our relatives, which is great. It's you kind of cherish those moments too, because you learn who's who. And I keep saying I'm going to work on our family tree. Yeah, that takes time and effort. Yeah, so it's going to get done. You need a team to work on that. You do. Yeah. You do. I tried that once, and it just, you realize that you need more people to be interested enough to make it happen. Yeah. Because then it's not just your mom's side either. It's your dad's side too. Like, you have everything. The whole thing. And then see where everyone connects. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, other question: Did you keep in touch with friends? Because I know leaving at 10, did you still have friends? I did, but I didn't keep in touch with them. So, and then social media wasn't really a thing back then. So it was difficult. Like, I remember there's somebody like when we are now on Facebook at a much older age. Like, he was like, hey, it's me, blah blah blah. You don't remember me? I was
just like, no.
Bruh.
Yeah.
I really wish I want to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if it's like a mental block or something because I don't remember all my teachers. Like, and I feel like if I lived in one place,
you would.
I would.
You think so?
I think.
Well,
so.
maybe.
I think so, because then you have like those classmates, you build those relationships. So there
is consistency in your experience that you can actually maintain.
So
that. I guess that is
for me. It's been butchered because I went from Nigeria to Oregon to Orangeburg, so I don't like I barely remember my high school. Like I don't know if it's an intentional or something. No. Or if I like sit down and like, okay, let me try to remember. Like I pull up paperwork and something I can remember.
But if at that age you aren't really like the bonds aren't that tight, the experiences are not really strong enough for you to say, oh my god, I remember A, B, C. You know, I left in JS 3. I remember primary 6 because I had a teacher who flogged me with a cane. And I remember a few friends that I had at the time because I had a close circle of friends just for so not everything is clear. I don't remember a bunch of people. I remember one lesson teacher because of his name, Alphonsus.
I remember one lesson teacher. I remember I have one friend from primary school that I remember. Right. And then I have a friend that's a neighbor that I remember.
And that's because those people are closer. So you can't remember every like some classmates and like I have.
And like there's the one friend that we grew up with from like because when we went back to Nigeria we lived in Jos, so he was there. We've been family friends for forever. Okay. So like I know him from forever. From there. But so we didn't really go back home often. It was after I graduated from college, and my now best friend, like my best friend after I finished college, like her family was there and she was the only one here.
Ah, I see.
So like we became really close, and she met her husband in Nigeria. Oh. Like he was here, whatever. He's based out of Nigeria.
He's still based out.
He still is, yeah. Okay. So he came here for college and he went back. Okay. So and like that was always here? She moved back after marriage.
Okay, I see.
So, but it was because of her that and we started at UIU.
Okay.
We started UIU right after college.
And for those who don't know, because it is possible, I mean, I know what you're talking about, but it's possible that someone may be watching this and doesn't know. What is UIU and why did you start UIU?
So UIU stands for Omigbo Unite. Okay. Omigbo Unite Corporation. It's a nonprofit organization we started back in 2005. Okay. And it started off my sisters and my cousins. We created the organization because like, you know, growing up, you would go to your parents' association parties and their stuff with them, and they'll make you like I was led the dance group, like things for the kids. you were involved, yeah. Right? So then after, like when I'm in college, I'm now like too old to do that, but I'm also too young to be part of my parents' whatever discussions they're having. Right. So we felt like we needed to create an avenue where we would be able to network professionally, socially, and culturally. Okay. So a lot of people may live here and they've never been to Nigeria, but you know your last name is Okonkwo, right. So but you don't fit in with other people, so you're trying to figure out where you belong. Yeah. Okay. So we created it just so we can create that space where we can feel that level of comfort. Right. You know, like I'm saying your name properly. Yeah. You're not like Ijeoma. Yeah. Nope, it's Ijeoma.
Not even saying your name. Yeah. Some people don't.
Like, and then we have annual conventions. Now we have 13 different chapters, soon to be 14.
Okay. Soon to be 14. Which one is being added?
TBD. It'll be announced.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, that's cool. I was
Wait, when is this going? Can I?
This will be live by the time you're watching this. It will be 6 months in. So this will probably be next June.
So I can say it then. Okay. We're going live with a new chapter in Seattle.
Seattle. Okay. Very cool.
So I'm really excited about that.
But there are a lot of Nigerians. There are a lot of Nigerians in that area.
Yeah. So it's been a good journey. There's so many things that have come out of it. You've had friendships, businesses, marriages,
lots of marriages.
Yeah. Just so much that like everybody's like they think like UIU is making money and all that. It's not. It's really a nonprofit organization. Right. Like we raise funds to fund like we have different programs like the convention is one. We have UIU Cares, which is a missions arm that services like community service for locations in the States and Nigeria. Really, we're trying to do more back home. Okay. like we give international student scholarships for, you know how
undergrad,
okay. Yeah, or grad school.
Okay.
You just have to apply, and right now it's like we did $1,000 for 10 students.
Nice.
It doesn't sound like a lot, but it pays for something.
Yeah,
it's going to pay for your books or a month of rent or 2 months for rent, depending on where you live. Then we're launching UIU tourism. We want to be able to get people to go back home, and we're just going to see the East though.
Okay,
so a lot of people
that are in the Igbo sort of region, and that's where you guys. So you plan the experiences and curate the travel and everything. That's pretty.
Yeah,
that's
so
nice.
That's a new one that we're launching in 2020, and then the UIU Igbo 101 that we partnered with EJ the World Traveler, which my cousin and I actually started. Yeah. Just to teach the language.
The language as well. That's pretty cool. So as you were talking, I just had a thought. What's the age range for involvement in UIU?
Typically it's 21 to 45.
21. So you have to have been ready to get out of actually about to graduate college.
Yes.
Before.
It's at that awkward age where you're like, but we do 21 just because at the conventions, alcohol. So we need to make sure everyone's fine, right? There are no issues. All right, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. And I think it's a fantastic.
Like if you're in a chapter, let's say Houston chapter, for instance, and you're not 21, but you want to participate in those like the community service, the different events, it's fine.
You can still do that, just not the convention.
Yeah, until you're 21.
Gotcha. That's really interesting. I think it's a fantastic idea. I mean, I've always found it really exciting and interesting that you not only think about it but you actually execute, right? Because a lot of times we'll have ideas and we don't always execute, especially if it's not money making.
Exactly.
So it's amazing to have that interest follow through. And you said it's been how many years now?
Ooh, we're going on 16
years. Yeah, that's pretty fantastic.
Yeah. Wow. And then we have planning team members that join us every year. Some people have stayed with us for years. Some people may rotate. Which is fine, but we wouldn't be where we are today if it wasn't for them. So no matter whether you give us a year, whether you give us 5, it's absolutely appreciated because it's volunteer.
Yeah, it's a volunteer thing. So those planning team members, they're part of the organization to plan for
the convention. And then some people stay on and do marketing. Some people stay on to help with UIU cares,
anything
whatever
else they're interested in. Okay, that's good. So if you're watching this and you're interested or curious, where would they go? How can they find
they can go to the website umwibounite.com.
Okay.
www.umwibounite.com. I know I talk fast.
No, well, I'll make sure that there is some information somewhere. So
we can be found on IG, Facebook, LinkedIn, everywhere.
Okay.
And also you can always send us an email at contact@umwibounite.com.
That's really great. In the conversation you mentioned EJ the World Traveler. Once again, I may know what it is, but I would like you to talk, because you mentioned that was kind of the part of that. So talk a little bit about that. Okay. And of course your target audience, because not everyone knows what is accessible or available to them. So what is EJ the World Traveler and why?
So EJ the World Traveler, obviously my name is Ijeoma.
Yeah.
And
you travel?
And I travel. But Ijeoma means safe journey.
Yes.
And my partner is Ijeoma as well. Okay. So we came up with the name EJ the World Traveler, and we've kind of been going with it for now. And we have 2 books, and it teaches you ABCs in Igbo. Okay. They're different words that kind of help you to understand how it's pronounced. Okay. And then there's another book, Common Igbo Words. Okay. Yeah. And then we also have a YouTube channel. We have right now 3 episodes that are on the YouTube.
Nice.
I'm hoping by the time this goes live, we have more than that.
Yeah, but just so people would know that they can actually access it, because not everyone knows what's available.
Yep. So it's on YouTube, and then we have a website, and on the website there's some audio sounds for some words. I think we have the grace on there and the Lord's Prayer. If you are trying to learn some specific things, you can go on there and listen.
So just to help learn the language, retain, practice, all of that.
And the age limit is whoever is
right, and whoever needs to learn whatever at any phase. Cool. I know at some point you also had actual classes, because I remember partly.
I used to teach the Igbo lessons for the UIU Houston chapter.
Does that still happen?
It does. Yeah, they do. Okay. I can't add it on my
on your schedule, but it's happening
it's
somewhere.
happening,
I'm just saying,
yes.
if anyone is interested,
Yes.
it's available somewhere. It's just to find.
Join the UIU Houston chapter. Join any of the chapters actually, depending where you live, and they have that available.
That's awesome.
And hopefully, we'll be able to add more of a standardized Igbo lessons for all the chapters in the future.
Cool. That's awesome. All right, so now I have to go into, because I know you have kids, and as we're talking about EJ the World Traveler and teaching and education, and we can, just the whole idea of family and children. Now that your parents, I mean, they kind of went to school here, but they were
school there and here.
There and here, but I would assume they were the migrants, and you were born here, and now you have children who are going to, I don't know, say they're American, but that's very different.
Igbo American.
Right, Igbo American. Someone said to me once that by the third or fourth generation in this instances, the culture has become so diluted that you can't really call them Nigerian anymore.
I don't believe in that.
Right, so that's sort of what I wanted to touch on, especially with your desires and the Igbo Unite and EJ the World Traveler. Do you find yourself somewhat concerned about how to transmit or continue your cultural background or your cultural experience to your children and how to keep them interested in even trying to learn or want to know that?
Absolutely. First of all, I don't know everything.
Yeah.
Like, I know my parents haven't been able to pass down. They've tried, but I don't know as much as they do.
Right.
So in that aspect, things will get watered down. We get that. But I think like the basics, like your language, the culture, the respect, not everything that...
The values you have.
Yeah. But not everything should really be passed down, to be honest.
Okay. And that's I will touch on what are some things.
Yeah, there's some things that it's okay, but as far as like what your language is, how the structure is, how you respect your elders, those basic things I think should always be there.
Yeah.
And that kind of differentiates you from your peers.
Okay.
And like, education is key. Things are changing. College isn't everything anymore, right?
Absolutely.
But reading,
information, gathering curiosity is still very important.
Yeah. So knowledge is power.
Yes.
So whether you're like, you must have 10 degrees, like I don't have a PhD,
you
right?
Should.
No kidding. I'm not a doctor.
I know. It's like you should. Everybody should be a doctor.
My parents both have their PhDs. Yeah. My sisters are PharmDs. I have my little sister's a nurse, but like I was like, I don't have that extra need to be a doctor. I'm good. I'm an engineer, which is
fine
great.
Too. That fits the five options.
The top
five options that you have. Right. The top 5 Nigerian occupations that fits. So you're.
So I got that.
Right.
But I remember my anyway.
Yeah.
I remember my parents, like my mom was like, you should be a nurse. I was like, no.
I had similar conversations. Like, no,
she really tried, because I think it was just like she knows it's a safe occupation, but I was like, I feel like that's an occupation that you should want to do.
That should be
like it should be
a passion of some sort.
And like I'm a good caretaker and all that, but that's not where I want to be.
Right.
I'm more of like a problem solver. I want to be more, you want a different kind of challenge. Like it's all challenging. It's all, you're resolving things, and they all matter. Yeah. And everybody's in the healthcare, my family in the healthcare field, but I'm not. Yeah. And so whenever I'm talking, like people are like asking, what do I do? They're like, I don't know.
Both your parents are in the healthcare field?
My dad's a biology professor. My mom is nutrition and public health.
Yeah. Still in there. Yeah. That's interesting. Yep. So I want to touch on when you say some things in our culture shouldn't be passed down, just because I do love when we have those conversations. Ideally, what would you not continue?
So this whole respect your elders, absolutely, you absolutely should, to a certain extent. Just because you're an elder doesn't mean that what you're saying is true.
Okay.
I think you need to be wise in how and who you're listening to. Okay. So definitely respect them. Okay. I receive what you're telling me. Right. Thank you, ma. Yeah. End it.
Respect is not follow.
Exactly.
Yeah. Respect is not agreeing. Yeah. Respect is respect, and then agreeing is agreeing. Yeah. Yeah. So that's I totally agree with that. Yeah. I don't think you're supposed to just blindly follow people just because they're older, because age is not wisdom, right? They are, So that's okay.
That's one. The other one I don't. sensitive, but the whole I don't really want to.
Okay. So that's fine. Agreeing is agreeing, and respect is respect. So we'll leave it at that. Okay. So now I'm gonna touch on. I know we mentioned kids and Egypt, the world traveler, and passing on culture. I also know, because we've talked about some things in this realm of culture, marriage, children, expectations of womanhood, and really, especially if you have daughters, right? How you begin to try to teach them differently, if you want to, or pass things down to them. So, gosh, I have to figure out where to start. But talking about just the idea of womanhood in general, our culture, if there was something you would like to change, address, alter in terms of the expectations our culture has of women, what would that be? Be it, the desire that you must want to be a mother, or you should be a mother, or wanting to be a mother, or you must be a wife and you should be a wife and this is how a wife should be, or you must be. What is something that you sit back and, even if you are experiencing or haven't experienced it, something you look back and you think, you know what, I wish this was different, if anything?
The only thing I would say I wish was different wouldn't even be towards the daughters. It would be more towards the sons.
Oh, okay.
I would want parents to teach your sons how to behave, how to treat women, how to cook.
Okay.
Just because, especially whether you're in Nigeria or not, like this whole thing, like, oh, you're in America, so you need to do more. You're a human being. You need to do more.
Do more and take care of yourself.
Yeah. Just because you're Nigerian, you have house helps or whatever have you, doesn't mean that you just, let loose and just let someone else take care of your home.
Right.
Like, your home is your home. You guys should work together to raise your kids.
Right.
Like, your kids should know that you're the dad, and it's not that absentee dad that comes in and just plays or yells and then disappears. Like, be part of it. Change the diapers. Like, it's okay for you to change your kid's diaper.
It is okay for you to change your kids' diapers and for you to cook. It is okay.
Right.
Really.
Like, your wife shouldn't be she goes to work, because
that's the thing too. She has to work.
She has to go to work,
that.
comes home, maintains the house. Whether you have help or not, you still have to tell the help what to do.
Yeah.
Because the husband
and think about what to tell the help, or what to tell her to cook.
Yeah. And buy the groceries and make sure everything everyone's taken care of.
Is a husband. Yeah. Who just goes to work and comes home and watches.
Everything should be taken care of.
Football.
Yeah. Plays video games.
Plays video games, football, whatever it is.
I wish I had this look. I mean, it's fine. Like, I think everybody should have that downtime. Like, I watch Netflix, all those things. Like, everybody should have that time where they spend to relax. But you should also work together to be productive.
Right. And the marriage should be a partnership.
Yeah. Absolutely.
A full partnership. Not just partner that I support you. But full partnership that you're supporting me.
I'm partnering with you because I'm providing the money. It's no.
But we're both working, right? That's the thing.
But there's this thing where men feel like, well, I'm making more. I'm bringing more to the table. So, and technically you don't really have to work. You're choosing to work.
You're choosing to work, so you're choosing the pain and suffering.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Would you ever be a housewife?
No.
I just thought about that as you were talking. Like, would you ever say, you know what, for a few years I'm hands-free, I'll sit back and you provide all the money and I will just kind of do my thing?
It's not in my nature.
Yeah.
And my husband it's fine if I do, but I don't want to.
You don't want
it's
to.
Not it's not my passion. Like, my passion is, I love my kids. I would spend all day with them, but not my full-time job.
Right.
Like, I want to do more. I want to be a mom to them, but I want to be great in my field.
And you want to be your own person too, right?
Yeah. I don't want to be one of those people where once they go to school, you're now like, who am I? Like, I need to. And I also feel like they see that as drive from their mom. Not just dad. Like, I feel like they should see both of us thriving so that they know, okay, hey, mom and dad were doing this and they were still able to take care of us.
And your girl should be able to see you and say, okay, I have options. I have options of what.
Yeah, and there's nothing. I think if you want to be a stay-at-home mom, you should have that passion. Right. It's a lot of work. Right. It is difficult.
It's a desire with anything, right?
Yeah, it's a job.
There's so many different aspects to who we are as individuals, mother or not. And adding motherhood is it's one aspect of it. And if you decide that gives you the most fulfillment for who you are, then that's fine to commit 80%, 90%, 100% to just that.
Yep.
And if you have a variety of things that you're interested in that kind of make up who you are, the big pizza pie, then it's an individual decision. And
if I ever do it, I wouldn't just do that. I would still making sure UIU is great. There's always, even balancing my full-time job and the nonprofit and the Ijeoma Traveler and momhood and wifehood, it's all part of, but it's part of who I am.
And the pizza pie that you are, the pizza, and all the little facets. It's just that's a good description that I tend to think of, because quite often sometimes people imagine that motherhood should be everything that you are, and for some women it's not. For some women it is. For some women it's not. And for some other women, if they can't have kids for whatever, then you're pretty much telling them that nothing else is valuable unless that's all they're doing. Which brings me to something that I know we've talked about before in terms of child, fertility, children. And I would just have you kind of tell me that story to the extent that you want to, but the experience of wanting children and not necessarily being able to have it when you want to. And I know you've had some experiences in that space. Can you kind of talk us through that? Because women don't always talk about our fertility. We don't always talk about our decisions around childbirth. We don't always talk about our decisions not to have children. We don't talk about our decisions or our challenges. We want to sort of hide things because somehow if you can't have kids at a certain time, a certain age, you are
doomed.
You're doomed, you're useless, worthless. So there is a certain transparency that is in that space that I think would be helpful for other people if we share that as well. So just
so as part of being Nigerian, being Igbo, and you're a woman, it's part of your DNA that you're going to be a mom. For me, it was second nature. I just knew I love kids. Usually I give them back, but
I hang out kids with you.
I babysat. I did everything with kids wise. My sisters have I have 5 nephews, so I'd always play with them and all that. So after I got married, I just knew it was going to happen. It wasn't a question.
You don't think about the other option.
No. What do you mean? Of course, after marriage comes babies. Duh. So we got married. I had endometriosis. I got diagnosed with that when I was in college.
Okay.
It was actually funny. I went to the school healthcare, and she was she did a test, and she was like, "You won't know until Monday," and this is on a Friday.
Okay. Well, why did you go?
I was having a lot of pain. Okay. I was miserable. It was awful. And so they did a test, or I can't remember what test they did, but regardless, I wouldn't be able to know until Monday.
Okay.
So she's like, well, it could be endometriosis, or it could be gonorrhea, or ST. She went all the way left. And I was like, what are you talking about?
It could be anything,
ma'am. So I know. I waited that weekend. My poor boyfriend at the time, I was just like, I will kill you. Probably should be edited.
Okay.
So anyway,
we know where
I found out in college I had endometriosis. So, after marriage, we wanted to give ourselves a year because my husband came. I imported him from Nigeria. This is my joke, but we met in Nigeria actually, and he came. So he is a medical doctor, but when you move over here, this is something else I feel like people should be aware of. You have to take all of your exams, the steps. There are 4 different exams. Step 1, step 2 CS, step 2 CK, and step 3.
One of my guests talked about the pipeline.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, but that's also another thing that I think that we as Africans need to create for ourselves because the Indians have it, the Asians have it, and not just for America, for the world. We need to. Another topic is.
But that means we have to be willing to share information with each other in a fully transparent form, and we also need to be willing to think of ourselves as one unit.
Exactly.
Right.
And
that's
to
the
fix our home because people finish and they're able to come here. Nobody's at home to fix, which you don't blame them because
it's hard to fix. I mean, we would have to essentially. For lack of a better word, my first thought was to get rid of everything that's above us now. When you say get rid of it, sounds like I'm talking about murder. I'm not. I just mean all the leaders that have been leading for the past 30 years need to sort of exit. Yeah. So that
bow down, bow out, let the fresh people let us start from
contained as much money as you can. You've taken, you've stolen, you've built, whatever. just kind of exit so that people
let us that actually want to do for our people
can actually do.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the hard part.
Yeah.
Because I mean we have ethnic issues, cultural issues, politics,
corruption,
religion, there's so many layers of it that it's not
it's difficult. And then one thing my husband says is like, you can't, Nigeria is not it's a new country, really.
It's a very new country, and it doesn't have a single identity.
Yep.
The lack of a single
there's
identity
a lot that has to be done for us to get, and we're going to get there. It's a painful journey.
In a different lifetime. Yeah, it may be. I mean,
we will get there.
It may be in a different lifetime. We will get there, but it may be in a different lifetime. But no, circling back, because I know it's easy for us to just really go into the politics and stuff.
Stay on topic.
Yeah, but so endometriosis, you find out in college, and then when you get married, husband comes over here after a year, and what you trying to get pregnant right after?
No, so because of those exams, we're like, okay, I didn't want him to, you're trying to get yourself together and then worried about a pregnant woman. We said, okay, we'll wait a year, let him understand the system and all that, because it's totally different. As much as you may see on the, on TV.
You come over your doctor,
It's totally different.
Right.
So we waited a year, and then we started trying. But then I was in so much pain because I'm now off of birth control.
Oh, okay.
So birth control to deal with the endo, I had to be on birth control to suppress it.
Okay.
Because endo, what it is, it's like a glue that attaches your organs together.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I got off of the birth control pill, and the pain came back like full force. It was horrible. It was horrible. And it was so bad that I had to get the endo removed. Okay. So I had to have surgery.
Yeah.
And when he got in there, it was supposed to be outpatient. He gets in there and he was like, oh, it's attached to your colon. He was able to take out what he could. Oh, wow. But now he had to have an inpatient surgery where part of my colon has to be cut off.
Oh wow.
And there's some medical terms for this I don't recall.
Yeah.
So anyway, that happened. So after that, he was like, within 6 months, you guys should be pregnant. If you're not, then I would suggest other options, what's that other? So anyway, 6 months later, we're not pregnant. We're like, okay, what do we do? So we tried IVF.
Okay.
And we didn't try IVF yet. We tried what IU.
I something.
It's
it's not IUI. I know there's something else.
I think it is IUI.
Yeah.
The turkey baster one.
Yeah.
So we tried that. That didn't work. There are different things that we tried. There was some medication. Tried the IUI. Then we tried IVF. And then I made 8 eggs. They're like, this is amazing, wonderful. You're injecting yourself this whole time. Mind you, my husband was in Longview at this time for residency, so we wouldn't live together. So I'm like, where are you? Why are you not injecting me?
So I should be here to come deal with this.
The first time, I was like, we're gonna Skype so you can watch me inject myself. Funny enough, I called him and he did not answer.
Well, you were ready with everything.
Yeah. He was in residency.
I mean,
he fell asleep.
Oh, okay.
He was so tired, he fell asleep. I was so mad, but obviously I understand. But I was just like, you weren't watching me inject myself.
Right, you didn't come see the visuals of this process.
Ma'am. So it makes you cuckoo. Yeah. So your hormones are out of whack.
Exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, did IVF, made 8 eggs. So I had a really hard time even deciding to do IVF because I was just like, I am a woman. I'm supposed to get pregnant naturally. What is happening? What is this? Why am I in that percentage of women that need help?
Right.
So I finally was at peace, and then I felt like I was also playing God. It was
you're too involved in the process.
Yeah. So we did IVF, made 8 eggs. After day 1 or day 2, they were like, "Ooh, you're down to 3 eggs." I was like, "Oh, okay." And I wasn't really, maybe I didn't read everything they gave me, but I didn't understand the process. So by the whatever day, I now had to get the embryos transferred. And by then they're like, you only have 1 left.
Wow.
how did I go from 8 to
1?
1?
Right.
But they were like, well, you only need 1. I was like, okay,
sure,
awesome.
Yeah.
So I got the 1, and 6 weeks later, I lost the 1.
Sorry.
So I was just like, what? Okay. So that was a really traumatic experience.
Yeah.
And then after that, we wanted to, my husband was like, just let's take a break. Like, you're going through too much, you're doing too much. If we are not meant to have a kid, then we're not meant to have a kid. It's fine. There are other options. We can adopt. Like, there's so many options. Like, well, can we go ahead and adopt? He was
like, not right now.
Chill.
Just like, yeah.
Because he's still in residency.
Yeah.
Like, you know, maybe if we live together, it'll be a lot easier. But I was just like, I feel like this is a time for us to do it. Like, I'm getting older.
Right.
And we got married when I was like 27, 28.
Okay. So
26, 27, whatever.
Yeah.
But I wanted to be done with kids by 30.
Oh,
that was my
goal.
goal.
Wow. You wanted to be done.
I wanted to be done.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's always my goal.
Yeah.
Married at 25. You know, hang out for like 2 years and then have kids back to back. And then by 30, I know I'm done.
Finished. Right.
So, like, I had this planned out, and God was just like, haha, you're funny.
That is exactly how it feels. Like, oh, that's your plan? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So after that, I was just like done. Like, I had multiple like surgeries where they had to go in and check. I really wish I remembered all the medical terms.
It's fine, but I think the whole point is that there are all these experiences where someone else may need to just
and I wasn't prepared for it. Like, I know some people have had miscarriages, but it's not things that you talk about.
No,
and when you talk about yours, then somebody's like, oh yeah, I've had like 2 miscarriages. I've had this. I'm like, why did you tell me? Because I've been dealing with this by myself. Like, I've been killing I literally, and it was a really bad time for me. Like, I gained so much weight. I felt like I didn't know who I was. Like, I was depressed. What helped me was just praying, and like I started volunteering at church in the nursery, so playing with the kids and all that, and just distracting myself from my stuff. And I think that was I don't know, I feel like that was a lesson that God was just like, it's not about you, it's about him. So
and timing isn't everything.
And time isn't everything, and your plans are not my plans. My plans will supersede yours, and it absolutely did. But when you're in it, you don't see that. It's not
because you don't see the future, and you feel like you're so tight.
You feel like you're alone. And honestly, like I know I don't really tell people this, but I felt like I wanted to kill myself because I felt like I was putting my husband through this. And, like, I created this stuff, like, that people were saying, which I'm sure they were, but nobody was really saying anything to me. Like,
you were saying it to
I was saying it to myself because I believe that's what people would be saying. Especially, like, his side of the family. But he was really good with, if anybody did say something, he would shield me from that. Like, I would never hear it. But I felt it. I felt terrible. I was like, I feel like you deserve somebody who can actually give you. But you see how everything fell on me. Like, he was like, I don't really know why you keep blaming yourself for this. Like, it takes two. Like,
it takes two, and it's not something that you
and in our language, like, God gives children. You are not in control of that. So, like, he was really good about that. Like, because I was so emotional. Every time my monthly came, I would fall out like a crazy person, just crying, because it was bad, and I wasn't prepared for it, and nobody talked to me about it.
You keep building up on it too, because that internal dialogue continues and makes things even
it's a fight, and then you have to like stay prayed up so that God, like, you win that fight with God, because it's like a mental struggle, mental battle, and everybody will be like, oh, just take your mind off of it, don't worry about it. That is the hardest thing to tell somebody who wants a baby to do. You can tell them, but that's the hardest thing that nobody wants. I didn't want to hear that. Thank you, no thanks. I understand where you're coming from, but I needed to get there myself, and it wasn't until my last surgery where like he fixed, because I was like, my scars were keloid or something. He fixed that. He removed more endo stuff from around my ovaries or whatever, some cysts that were removed. And I remember that doctor saying, you guys should not try to get pregnant naturally. You
should not try.
You should not.
Okay.
You guys have to do IVF, because if you get pregnant naturally, you have a 99% chance of having a tubal pregnancy, because he tied one of my tubes, because there was a reason why it was supposed to be better, blah, blah, blah. But I wasn't really clear that he was doing that.
Okay.
And my husband wasn't either, and he wasn't here. So when I told him, he was like, he did what? I was like,
that's not what we planned.
I think he did it for a reason, so that something would flow better. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I just remember him saying that, and I was like, but there's a 1% chance that I could still get pregnant. Everything will be fine. He was like, yes, but I highly
recommend you don't try the 1%.
You don't try that.
Yeah.
And then something came over me. I believe it's the Holy Spirit that was like, who are you?
Right.
Who are you to tell me what my God can do? Who are you to tell me what, did you create this body? Thank you for your time. Goodbye.
Yeah.
It was about 6 months later. I was having pelvic pains. I was like, I'm just gonna go to a regular OBGYN, no specialists, nothing. I just want to be a regular woman. So I told her, and they made an appointment for an ultrasound and a mammogram, because I also had lumps in my boobs. Okay. And so the mammogram was first. I went there, and they were like, is there a chance that you're pregnant? I was like, wait a minute, I haven't seen my period.
But I wasn't thinking about it.
I wasn't thinking about it at all. So I guess they were like, well, if there's a chance, let's not. I was like, okay, let's not. And then the next day I had the scan. Okay. So, and I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, huh. And then I got busy or whatever. Yeah. The next day or so, I now had the ultrasound, and the tech is in there. She was like, ma'am, there's a gestational sac in there. First of all, what the hell is that?
You're like, what is this?
I was
baby
like,
sac?
okay.
It's a baby bag.
What are you saying? She was like, you're pregnant. I was like, no, I'm not.
There's 1%. There's 99% chance I cannot be pregnant naturally.
I was like, what do you, I was confused. I was crying. She was probably like, this crazy lady.
Of course, especially they don't know you. They don't know your history. Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm not. She was like, yes, you are. I was like, okay. So we finished there, and I'm in shock. I don't call anybody. I'm in shock.
Just like, no, this is not. They're probably blind. They don't know what they're doing.
I go to the store. I buy the pregnancy test, the one that says pregnant, not pregnant. I didn't want the line. I didn't want to try to figure out what the line meant.
Give me words.
Yeah. So I went and got the most expensive one in there. Went and checked it and said pregnant. I was like, huh? I took another one. It said pregnant. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. Huh. Awesome. So that lump in my breast is like that the
sacs, the milk, baby formation stuff.
I was like, okay. I didn't even tell my husband. This is on a Wednesday.
Oh my God.
I didn't tell anybody until it was right before Christmas, December 2017. So I had Christmas cards, and I put Merry Christmas in the cards and gave it to my siblings. And I was like, guys, read your card.
Okay. Yeah, you told them in the cards.
And I always told my husband before then. But oh my gosh. So needless to say, we got pregnant. Yeah. We have a boy in August of 2017. So this is December 2016. Sorry. So we gave birth August 2017. Then my son turned 1 in 2018. August 23rd, 2018. I found out August 24th. That I was pregnant again. So, I was planning this. I was going to my cousin's wedding. It was a trip. We were going to drink, have a blast, and then I was like, wait, I'm still late. Let me check this thing.
Going on.
So I checked, and I was like, babe. So, needless to say, I went from you cannot have children naturally. You need IVF to having 2 children naturally without any. Yeah. One thing I did do, I don't know if this had any impact, but I did go to see an acupuncture, because I was having I was having pain, but I was like, I don't want to get cut again. I don't want any of this. Let me. I was not on birth control. I was like, let me just get my body together. I don't want anything in my body. Right. So I did the acupuncture. It seemed like it was supposed to help with the blood flow and just help with the pain or something. So I did that. I don't know if that helped or anything.
Who knows?
I attribute everything to God because even if it was acupuncture, He led me there.
Exactly, and ultimately that's what that at the end of the day, your spirit, your guide directs you to whatever it was that helped or fixed it or whatnot. It's just you are where God intended for you to be, right?
So like, like how some Christians are like afraid to like take medicine and all that, but I'm like, God created those people that made the medicine. Like if this is what you need, like I feel like I believe in prayer and taking the right precautions.
And taking action. It's like faith. Faith requires action. Exactly. It's just that thing. You can't have faith and do nothing and sit down and say, "Oh, I have faith that they will." No, it requires some action. God works with us, not necessarily. He's not at our beck and call and just it falls from the sky. We do have to take action, and I think sometimes with our, I don't say over religiousness, but sometimes we take religion so far that we, in a way, release ourselves from any responsibility, not realizing that even that requires personal responsibility. You have to do your part.
Yep.
But that's an amazing testimony. It's an amazing story.
And I look at my babies, I'm like, oh my gosh. I still can't believe I have 2 kids. Like every day I look at them and I'm just like,
because everything that you've gone through to even get to that point. If you were to say, okay, this is the biggest lesson I learned from this experience, what would you say that was? And of course, there's so many other things in between that.
I would say, because I posted it on social media, and I had a lot of people like reach out to me and just say, thank you so much for sharing. This happened to me too, or I'm struggling with this. Somebody did tell me I actually wanted to kill myself. Like that one was heart-wrenching because I was like, I get it. But you cannot take this on by yourself. So like my one takeaway is trying to be there for other people.
Okay.
And I don't like to sugarcoat anything. I will tell you as it is. Like you may not like it, but I will share the truth with you.
Yeah.
So that's my one thing.
And just that transparency. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. It's a lot of times you and I personally, and also just in a sense our community, always, you and I talk, and I think we're very transparent with each other, but sometimes we don't always share that transparency with other people. It's this thing of, I could be going through something I don't necessarily think the world needs to know that I'm going through. Maybe at some point, if I get over it and I'm fine and everything's okay, then I can share it. Then I can share it. But while we're in it, sometimes it's really difficult to share the struggle. I mean, even when you talk about thinking of suicide as an option because you just felt so low in your life. It's in that moment where you really need somebody, right? But we don't even think in that moment to reach out to somebody because 1, you're like, you're not going to get it. 2, you're not going to be there for me. 3,
like, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? Like, this is it, and I say that because I've had those moments at different phases of my life where you just feel like this what sucks.
Am I here for?
Right. This sucks. I mean, whatever the desire is, this experience sucks, and I don't feel like I want to continue. Right. So it's 1, thanks for sharing it, and it's just really for whoever is out there, whatever you're going through. I mean, now there's a hotline to share for suicide because it's become so rampant that people actually follow through. But I still don't believe we're put here for us to just take it back whenever we want to. I think we all serve a certain purpose.
Yeah.
Even if we see it as a small thing and our dreams are not being fulfilled, but thank goodness we are where we are and you are where you are, and we're 2 little people who are absolutely glad that you're here. And
I feel like if you're able to like help just one person, it's worth you sharing that story.
Yeah.
So like whatever it is, whatever your journey is, whatever your struggle is, I do believe wholeheartedly in sharing with other people. You never know who you can help.
Right. You never know. No, that's fantastic. Thank you. On that note, we'll kind of wrap it up a bit. And generally usually before we end, I try to give my guests an opportunity to ask me a question because I brought you here and you've shared your story and your life with myself and the people that will be watching. So yeah, you can ask me a question before we wrap up, and you don't have to. If you have any questions, that's totally fine. But no pressure.
No, what I'm trying to. There are a couple of questions, but I think let me pick one.
Okay.
What is your one dream for Foshty?
Ooh. So my one dream for Foshty is kind of, I almost want to piggyback on what you just said, to be able to provide resources to someone who may not have it. That's on a, I would say on a minute scale, right? Because I have talked to a few different people. I have, a few guests who have shared information that I don't know. And I imagine that whoever watches this, especially with access to information on a platform, there could be someone in Nigeria who is curious about something. And some of the guests I'll have on here will be able to share information that could be helpful to them. There could be someone here who I talk to, and you might get a connection or something in the future based on this platform. The idea initially originated when, the comment about not wanting people from shithole countries in the US. And I remember thinking, gosh, I know a lot of people, okay, we can bleep it out, but I know a lot of people who have had very challenging experiences, have come out here and made fantastic opportunities and situations out of nothing. So the idea, it hurt. As much as I get it, our countries are not always faring the best, but it kind of feels like a lot of times our contributions and our experiences are diminished or not even recognized or not, you don't need to appreciate it, but at least acknowledge it, right? Acknowledge it to a certain extent that I moved to the US at 14 by myself. I mean, my mother was here, but I also know the process of going through high school and college and grad school and trying to maybe start a business or do a project or do this and do that. And I don't really know if I'll ever really move back home. So all of that resource and contribution will be here. My children will be here. So don't diminish that by saying, oh, we're just from shithole. Like, no. So on a minute scale, to provide access and information to other people and to really share our stories, create that sense of community on some level, really on a scale that is beyond, hey, we can hang out and party and have a good time, but we can actually talk, and we can actually understand that we all have similar stories, and we all are really connected whether we know it or not. On a larger scale, maybe someday I'll talk to Obama, or Trevor Noah, somebody who's also an immigrant. Maybe one day I'll have a documentary on Netflix or CNN. There's a part of me that wants to be able to talk on a larger scale. So that's, I know you said one dream. I think I've just kind of
I think that's a good dream. It's a journey.
It's a journey, and it's an experience that I'm excited about. I tend to be shy generally, and this idea came up in 2018. It's taken me about, I think it was March 2018 that the Foshty idea came up. It's taken me almost 2 years to get to the point of even talking to people. And maybe another 2.5 before I will put it out into the world. But the thought, the desire hasn't quite left me. So I'm excited to work with it, see where it goes, see what happens with it. Okay. So thank you guys for joining us. Really appreciate you guys watching or listening if you are just listening. And as always, I'll ask, where can people find you on social media? What's your name?
Find me on social media. I would say Ije the World Traveler.
Okay.
On IG and Facebook.
Okay.
My Instagram is private.
Okay, so not that, but Ije the World Traveler. I mean, someone can always email you and ask you a question from there.
Contact at ijetheworldtraveler.com. Umugbo Unite, same way. You can catch me either way. Facebook or Instagram. So once again, thanks guys, and as always, this is Foshty from our shithole countries to you. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yay. Alrighty, mama. Thanks.